Let me cut to the chase. Obstacles aren't just inconvenient, they're inevitable. Whether it's a missed opportunity, a sudden loss, or an unforeseen challenge, life has a way of throwing curveballs that feel like they're designed to break you. But here's the truth. Those very obstacles, the ones that feel like the universe conspiring against you, are the way forward. The Stoics didn't just acknowledge this, they built a philosophy around it. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is not some feel-good platitude. It's raw, unfiltered wisdom that has the power to transform your mindset, and by extension, your life. When I first stumbled across this idea, I was skeptical. I wanted to believe that life was about removing obstacles, not embracing them. But then life hit me hard, as it always does, and I realized the Stoics were right. We don't get to choose the challenges we face, but we always get to choose how we respond. And that choice, it changes everything. The nature of obstacles. Think about the last time you faced a major challenge. Maybe it was a failed project, a breakup, or a financial setback. What was your initial reaction? Frustration, anger, self-pity? It's natural to feel these things, but they can cloud your judgment. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They taught that obstacles aren't inherently good or bad, they're neutral. What gives them meaning is how we choose to interpret and respond to them. Here's a simple example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic on your way to an important meeting. You could let your frustration take over, pounding the steering wheel and cursing the delay. Or you could use the time to mentally prepare, reflect on your presentation, or even practice gratitude for the time to think. The traffic itself doesn't change, but your experience of it does. This is the power of perspective. Marcus Aurelius called it the ability to dye events with our own color. The traffic isn't inherently negative. It's your perception that makes it so. By choosing a better perspective, you reclaim control over how you experience the world. The mind as a tool. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting." Think about that for a moment. Your mind, your ability to think, reason, and reflect, is your most powerful tool. It can take a roadblock and turn it into a building block. When I first encountered this idea, it felt almost too simple to be true. But then I started applying it. I'd hit a setback, like losing a client or facing rejection, and instead of spiraling into despair, I asked myself, what's the opportunity here? Every single time the answer was there. Losing a client? It freed up time to pursue better ones. Rejection? It forced me to refine my pitch and improve my skills. The obstacle didn't disappear, but it became a stepping stone to something greater. This mindset isn't just empowering, it's practical. The world is unpredictable, and setbacks are unavoidable. By training your mind to adapt, you turn those setbacks into opportunities for growth. Action over analysis. Here's the truth no one wants to admit. Most of us spend too much time thinking and not enough time doing. When faced with an obstacle, our default response is often paralysis. We analyze the problem from every angle, weigh every possible outcome, and wait for the perfect solution. But guess what? The perfect solution doesn't exist. The Stoics understood this. Seneca wrote, "While we are postponing, life speeds by. Time is the one resource you can never get back, and overthinking is its greatest thief." I learned this lesson the hard way. In my 20s, I had what I thought was a brilliant business idea. I spent months, years even, perfecting the concept. I researched, analyzed, and tweaked every detail. By the time I was ready to launch, the market had moved on. My brilliant idea was obsolete. That failure taught me a crucial lesson. Action beats analysis every time. When you face an obstacle, don't get stuck in your head. Take a step forward, no matter how small. Send the email, make the call, write the first page. Imperfect action is always better than perfect inaction. Marcus Aurelius captured this idea perfectly. The impediment to action advances action. The obstacles we face aren't meant to stop us. They're meant to push us forward, but we have to take the first step. Obstacles as opportunities. Here's the thing about challenges. They're not random. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity in disguise. It's a chance to grow, to learn, and to become stronger. But to see the opportunity, you have to look beyond the surface. And let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I was working in a job I loved, or so I thought. When I was unexpectedly let go, it felt like my world was falling apart. I spent weeks replaying the events in my head, blaming myself and the company. But then I remembered Marcus Aurelius's words, "What stands in the way becomes the way." I stopped asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and started asking, "What can I do next?" That simple shift in focus changed everything. I used the time to start a business, a venture I never would have pursued if I'd stayed in my comfort zone. Losing that job wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something far better. The lesson? Obstacles aren't barriers, they're bridges, but it's up to you to walk across them. Building resilience. One of the greatest gifts of embracing obstacles is resilience. When you stop fearing challenges and start using them, you become stronger. Life's unpredictability no longer feels threatening. It feels like a game you're ready to play. The Stoics were masters of resilience. They faced invasions, betrayals, and personal loss, yet they thrived. Why? Because they understood that suffering isn't optional, but how you respond to it is. Resilience isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about bouncing back. It's about adapting to life's curveballs and finding strength in your setbacks. When you adopt the mindset that what stands in the way becomes the way, you stop seeing obstacles as problems and start seeing them as opportunities to build resilience. The power of choice. At the heart of this lesson is one simple truth. You always have a choice. You don't get to choose the obstacles you face, but you do get to choose how you respond. This is what makes Stoicism so powerful. It doesn't promise an easy life. It promises a meaningful one. The Stoics knew that the world is unpredictable and often unfair, but they also knew that our power lies in our response. When facing a challenge, ask yourself, what can I control? Maybe you can't control the traffic, but you can control your attitude. Maybe you can't control the market, but you can control your actions. By focusing on what you can control, you reclaim your power. A new way of seeing. Adopting this mindset isn't easy. It requires practice and patience, but the rewards are worth it. When you start seeing obstacles as opportunities, everything changes. Challenges no longer feel like personal attacks. They feel like invitations to grow. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't just a philosophy, it's a way of life. When you master your mind, you master your experience of the world. The takeaway. Life is short and time is precious. Please don't waste it wishing for an easier path. Instead, embrace the path you're on, with all its twists and turns. Remember, what stands in the way becomes the way. The choice is yours. Use it well. Obstacles will come, that's a given. But how you see them, how you respond to them, and what you do with them, that's where your power lies. Choose to act. Choose to grow. Choose to see the way forward, even when it's hidden in plain sight. Because the truth is, what stands in the way doesn't just become the way. It is the way.